how best to do it. I know, on the top. Morning, lovelies. I'm in the bathroom. That is 15 centimetres. I'm about to, hang on, let me get these measurements. 15 centimetres, which is 150 millimetres, isn't it? And then how far it sticks out is, that's 10.5, so I need it bigger than that. Let's have a sit and explain things. How are you all, by the way? I hope you're well. I'm going to be backlit in my window. So, I know this might confuse some folk from the last video when I said I'm going to take my foot off the gas with the flat and selling and all that. And I am. However, I'm not stopping completely from doing all the jobs that need doing. I hope that was clear in that video. It's a case of, I suppose what I'm delaying until next spring is the actual house hunting. That's too much for my brain to cope with. However, in the meantime, I can be getting on with all the little jobs in the flat. Some little jobs, some big jobs. One of the jobs for the bathroom is this tap set. And I'm actually going to go in person to a shop today. I'll take you with me if they'll let me film. The problem, I bought this set of taps online, and they weren't cheap. I think it was about 250 quid, something like that. Taps are really expensive. However, I'm prepared today to pay even more than that. I'm going to talk about the money stuff a bit later. But anyway, so the reason I want to go in person is because over the last few years, buying things online, I've had some issues with a few. I mean, I don't buy a lot, I haven't bought a lot, but for example with the printer, it didn't work, so I had to send it back. I couldn't return it to a shop, I had to send it back and then wait for another one to come, And I just find that shopping online, it's great, it's convenient, but if something goes wrong, suddenly it's impossible to speak to anyone, it feels like. So with this set, originally on the end here was a shower head, so whilst I'm in the bath, rinse my hair. I mean, that sheared off within 6 months, and I could never get hold of the company. I don't know if you can make out from there, but this is all wrapped up with gaffer tape at the top, because now it started leaking there. It's like the metal has corroded. I mean, goodness knows why. Metal shouldn't corrode, but also where the spout is here, it's a really stupid design because the spout flares, and where it flares backwards. So the water has always run onto the lip of the bath. Because it's a freestanding bath, it's not sealed there. I mean, I can show you, I can sort of like move the bath. It's freestanding. So now for me, I spotted that straight away. So when I run the bath, I have to put a face cloth here to soak up all the water that's running off so that it doesn't go down the back and therefore into my neighbour's flat. Now when I come to sell the flat, I mean obviously I need new taps anyway, but if I didn't replace them, can you imagine me saying to a buyer, oh by the way, when you run a bath, can you please make sure you put a pile of rags here so the water doesn't go down the back and into the neighbour's flat? They're going to think, what else is wrong with this flat? So they need replacing, so I wanted those measurements. The other thing to say about not buying online as well is, because I did look, I spent ages looking, really frustrating, because one of the things that so many of them online didn't have, they didn't have the specs in terms of measurements, and I think the width between the hot water inlet and the cold water inlet, I think that's probably standard. I'm not going to trust that, that's why I've done the measurements. But it's this measurement about how much it protrudes from the wall, that's the one that I really wanted to know and couldn't find out. So, okay, I've got my measurements. We're going to go, this isn't something I can get in my neighbourhood, so we're going to go 2 villages over. I haven't been there since February. So I know that because I had an appointment up there at the breast clinic, but it'll be a nice little kind of time out. One of the reasons I'm doing all this today and not in the garden is because we've got another drizzle day. I'm going to bring the camera with me, and I had thought, because on that bus ride we climbed to the top of a hill and there's an astonishing, fabulous view. It's an amazing view. It's the bus route I used to take to work when I was nursing. It takes forever to get right the way into London. It's about an hour, but it's a great route. Anyway, I was thinking of taking the camera, get that view, and then I suddenly thought, I don't know if I can get on the top deck anymore. I haven't tried to get onto a top deck for ages, so that might not happen. Also, what I noticed this morning, I'll just quickly show you, remember when I was doing all my house plants and some propagating, and I had the white pelargonium, the white geranium, and I chopped it to pieces. I butchered it for my cutting, but I didn't throw the plant away because I thought maybe. And look, actually, if I stand and block the light from the window, you can see, look, 2 brand new little shoots coming. Woo! So I'm glad I didn't chuck the whole plant. You've got to give plants a chance, haven't you? Give peace a chance, give plants a chance. All right, lovelies, let's go and get bags and bits and get on the move. Just before we go, I've just had a delivery this morning as well. It's very exciting, having just said about not buying things online. The thing that's arrived, I'm going to unpack it and show it to you later. We might have the first tryout this afternoon when I get back from this jaunt. It's a new iron. All will be revealed later, but it was not something I could buy locally. No way, I had to buy it online, so fingers crossed everything is okay with it. Now, also just a quick word, money, because the iron was expensive, and I'm fully prepared today for taps to be anything, I mean, it looks like they could be anything up to 500 quid. I sincerely hope not. And I mean, obviously, I hate spending money, not because I'm a tightwad or anything like that, just because, you know, obviously there's not a lot of money to go around, and I would far rather be spending tap money on a weekend away, for example. So yeah, it's a given that I don't really like spending money. However, this is the very reason, these taps, the iron, this is the very reason why I'm really tight with my money most of the time. It's so that I have a savings fund, an emergency savings fund. I've got a separate fund for that I'm saving for the house, for when I move, because I will need new things like cooker, fridge, freezer, because they're all built in here. But I've got a second emergency saving fund that is for things like all the equipment I use that drives my earning of a living. So it's for things like the computer, the camera, sewing machine, and of course an iron. I use my iron for my work. I don't use it on my own clothes. I only use an iron for work. So yeah, it's like I said, sometimes it feels a bit like to go without. Like when I remember, I think I've told you this story before, when I sold all the lavender bags. Of course, that's a chunk of money that comes in one go. And a friend said, oh, you should treat yourself to a night out, go and have a nice meal somewhere, what have you. And I said, no, because that money, firstly, although it's a chunk of money, if you think about it, that money kind of spreads across the whole year, because I only do the lavender bags once a year. But also, it's more important, the bigger treat for me is to be able to put money aside to know that I'm safe if something goes wrong in the flat, not too wrong. So yeah, the iron is covered by the emergency fund. And I've also, I know, I do have my little pots. I find it really useful to have all these little pots. because I know that I'm not allowed to touch that pot unless it's for that very specific reason. So I also have another pot which I've been putting into over, I think it's about 2 years now, might even be a little bit longer. And that pot was specifically for doing things to the flat in order to sell it. Be that, you know, I was fantasizing about, I'll buy some of those really big house plants and have them on my half landing. No, I'm not going to do that, they're too expensive. But for things like replacing the taps, buying paint for areas I need to decorate, paying a painter to do my hallway because it's over the stairwell, and I just don't trust my knees and a ladder, and me on a ladder with my knees to be over a stairwell. So it is all, you know, it's a lot of money to be shelling out. I guess some people maybe wouldn't think it's a lot of money, I don't know. For me, it is a lot of money to shell out. I don't want anyone worrying. I don't want anyone feeling like, oh, well, we'll send Vivi some money. I don't want that. I'm not asking for that. Please, no. I've purposely been saving for exactly this kind of thing, and that's how I can cover it. Right, enough natter, just looking around, where are all my bits and bobs. Let's get out of here. Let's go and buy some taps. We'll come home and we'll unbox. It is a really lovely iron, and I'll tell you all about that. We might even have a little demo. I got the ironing board out. I'll show you my little singe mark too. Stupid iron fire. Anyway, excuse me. Let's skedaddle. Let's go and spend some money. I mean, I hope I can spend some money today, because if I spend some money today, it means I found the taps and it's not a wild goose chase. Let's hope it's not a wild goose chase. Well, I think you can tell this is not a tap shop. Oh my goodness. Oh, I love that wallpaper up there. You're not going to be able to see it because it's too bright outside, and that's a mural across the street. Nice fireplace. Let me just bring you all over here and catch you up. Well, it's a wild goose chase. Just what I didn't want it to be today. So I went to the place where I thought I was going to be quids in. Brilliant. And they only have one type of wall-mounted bath tap there, and it's too wide. The water inlet's too wide, and I've just got this sinking feeling, because she seems to think that most of that width, not my width, I've got a sinking feeling that I'm going to have to widen it, which will mean repairing the panels, the tongue and groove. Anyway, I've then schlepped. I've walked about a mile slowly, because obviously I've taken lots of pit stops, but I've kind of trawled the entire street, been in a few other places. Yes, we sell taps. Oh, we only sell kitchen taps. Or yes, we do bathroom taps, and no wall mounted. So honestly, I'm feeling a little bit fed up, a little bit frazzled, a little bit like, what am I going to do? This is one of those occasions where I could really do with a second pair of ears, a sounding board. So I've done what I know best when I don't know what to do. Cheers. I'm having a pint, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness. God, it's gorgeous. It has been a long time. It's been a long time since I've come and sat in a pub and had a pint. But honestly, I'd done the main drag of this street. I'm slightly coming back up now to a bus stop. I I just thought, stuff it. Stuff it, I'm going in the pub. I'm going to go and spend £5 on a pint. It's like I was saying earlier on, you know, I don't spend, but every now and again I need to. So, right, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have I'm going to relax for a minute. I'm going to have my pint. I might take it outside, actually sit outside on the street and just people watch for a few minutes. And I think in terms of solving the tap issue, when I get home, I'm just going to have to go back online, aren't I? And it might mean, because there's just no specs. The one place that did have bath taps, just to say very quickly, they said this is what we stock, but we can get anything in for you. They've got a lovely, gorgeous, big, chunky catalogue of gorgeous things to look at. But nowhere did it give any specs. So I've got no idea whether it's 180 mils, 150 mils. So that's what I mean. It's like I can't buy something unless I know the measurement. Anyway, so that's what I'm going to do for now. I'm going to say cheerio to you all. I'll see you back home and we'll unpack the iron. I'm going to go online as well and see if I can find a specialist tap company somewhere in the UK so that at least I can phone them and get specs that way. I'm going to enjoy my pint for now. Ta-ra. I'm going to tuck in. What to do. I'm at home again, obviously. Oh, let that breeze come through. Oh, so much for a rain day. It's like there's a bit of drizzle this morning when I went out, but the rest of the day the sun's been out, it's baking, I'm boiling. Probably my garden is dead by now. We'll see when I get back this weekend. Anyway, after I left the pub, that was such a nice interlude, such a lovely treat. I did go into one more shop. Again, they don't have anything in stock, but they said, oh, we can order anything you want. And they had a couple of catalogues, but they're not catalogues I could take away, so I started to look in the shop. And I was starting to get a bit paranoid because they were all 180 mils, the gap between the cold and the warm hot water inlets. And I started to think, did I measure it wrong? Now, I trust my measurements. You know, I've lived an independent life for 35 plus years. I've been measuring stuff all my life, doing all my DIY and my sewing. Anyway, I had the hump, so I came home. And I've been online for a couple of hours because I don't think I've got any choice apart from to go online. The idea was, I was hoping I could find maybe a shop within London that I can go to. So in my search, I'm on Amazon, which I can't stand Amazon, but never mind. And I've put in my search UK, so that hopefully at least if I find some and it's a UK company, it's someone I can call. And I just finally, oh, and also as soon as I got home, after dashing to the bathroom, I measured again, and yes, it is 150 mils. So I've just found a set. They look almost identical to the set I had on there, which makes me a bit wary just in terms of longevity. But you know, if these break in 2 or 3 years time, frankly, I know it's awful, but I don't care. I don't care anymore. I just need to get some taps in there and get this place sold. Anyway, so they look pretty much the same. The main thing is it's 150. Also, the projection from the wall, it projects a bit further. It projects another, because this is the other thing with this one I found, it actually has the specs I need. The distance between the two inlets, the distance out from the wall, the height of the whole thing from the base of the tap spout right to the top of the shower. I just want to double check that. Yeah, 157, so nearly 16 centimetres, and I, in my head, had decided I wanted at least 12 centimetres. So it's that much more than I wanted. Great. Do I go ahead and buy them? It's such a ridiculous dilemma, isn't it? No, it's not that it's a ridiculous dilemma. And I'm sure, I know a load of you will get this. Let's go to the reviews, because they're all 5-star, it looks like. Let's look at the reviews. It's not ridiculous that I'm humming and hawing and in a dither about whether to go ahead and purchase, because it's, you know, it's an expense, and I know a lot of you will get this. That if this goes wrong, you know, I can't afford to lay out money and make a mistake. And you might think, oh, just send them back, just send them, you know, yeah, in theory, but I have been once bitten, twice shy now about companies, you know. I had one not recently, it was right at the beginning of this year, and they said, we've delivered it, and I said, I haven't had it, I need my money back or replacement. They said, yeah, we have delivered it, and here's the photographic evidence of the delivery. And it's not my front door. It's just not my front door. Also, the arm reaching forward to take the package belongs to a man. I'm not a man. And the arm reaching forward to take the parcel is black. I'm olive. So I wrote back to the company and I said, that's not my front door, that's not my arm, I'm a woman and I'm olive skinned, not black skinned. And they were like, well, you know, well, if it's with a neighbour, you'll have to collect. Anyway, customer service. So let's just have a quick look at these reviews, see what people have said. How do I access reviews? How do you get the reviews? It says there are no, so it's got eight ratings and they're all 5-star, but then there's no actual reviews. Does that make me wary of using this company? Where are they based? Where's that information? Because I've asked for UK companies, because then the thought is that if something goes wrong, if it's in the UK, I can phone them. It's brass, it's chrome covered, you know, chromed brass. Where's the company? Oh, flipping heck. Okay, I'm not going to keep you all here while I dither and dither and dither. This is one of those things where I think, yeah, it's one of those instances in life where, you know, I'm pretty good at handling most things on my Todd, and I do, because I am, but it's one of those scenarios where if I had a husband or a wife, I'd say, get in here, have a look at this, what do you think, shall we go for it? Or likewise, I'd kind of link this, send it to my sis and say, sis, what do you think? Oh, flipping heck. The other thing is they're cheap, they're under 100 quid. And all the ones I looked at today, well, I looked at one in person, but the rest was via all these different catalogues all the different shops had. And they were all, the ones I looked at, they were all, I think 175 was the cheapest, 275 was the most expensive, although in fairness, I didn't do an extensive look at any of their catalogues, because as soon as I saw that the specs weren't available, or when they were 180. Anyway, I'm banging on now, aren't I? Right. I think I'm just going to bite the bullet, go ahead and order these, and just hope for the best. Hope for the best in that they should fit, because I've looked at the measurements. Hope that I can get the old ones off. You see, that's the thing with all of this, isn't it? Just, you know, entertain me for a minute longer. This is one job in getting the flat sorted, and as I demonstrated this morning, I need to sort that tap set out for myself anyway because it's leaking. But this is one job in a whole list of jobs, and so far I've spent all day and got nowhere. Let's say I order these and they come and there's no issues with delivery, and men taking my parcel in who don't live here, don't know who they are, it's not my front door. Let's say there's no issue with delivery, and let's say, yay, they're going to be a perfect fit. Then it's that thing of, okay, I've got to get the old taps off. Let's just please hope that the thread hasn't rusted and welded itself together, and I have to hack the bathroom wall down and God. Okay, let's be positive and let's be hopeful, and let's hope that all the other jobs don't take up this crazy amount of time. Right, I'm gonna just have a bit more of a browse and think about this, and then being more positive, let's get the parcel, which is here, unpacked. Didn't take me long. Okay, so I've just done a little bit more delving and diving. Yes, it is a British company. And yes, this is the big thing, they have a showroom, and I was just reading their blurb about their customer service and wanting to please people, but the fact that they have a physical shop that I can walk into if needs be. It's not in London, it's a little bit outside London, in a town called Basildon. Basildon, that's Essex, isn't it? Basildon. Sorry everyone in Essex. But yeah, there's a phone number, that's a UK phone number, they're based in the UK, they've got a shop. That gives me enough confidence to go ahead and order it now. And I mean, you can probably tell I really have been stung a few times with this whole internet lark. I'm really loath to do it, but on this occasion I don't know what else to do. So I'm going to go ahead and order it and just hope for the best. Okay, when I've done that, then we'll get the iron. It's a big box. Oh my goody goodness. How am I going to get it out? Oh, I think we might have to grip the cardboard box with my feet. Oh, go on, pull. Crikey, it's a big old lump. Right, let's bring you all in closer. God, I'm boiling. I need to, I haven't opened the window since I got home, and it's been about 3 hours or so now. Right, just say I've ordered. I've done it. I've ordered the taps. Free delivery. That's great. You know, I mean, it's an expensive item, I hope so. Never mind that. I have a new iron. Now, oh my goodness, the iron. I'm not actually going to try it out today because today's gone on longer than I thought. Honestly, I thought it'd be a hop and a skip this morning. I'd be back by lunchtime. Ta-da! Get on with things. It's not. It's fast. I think it's about 5 o'clock already. So I haven't done the laundry. But just to say with this, thank you. I put out that video about my blooming iron blowing up. When I've got the ironing board out next time and we try this out, I'll show you the scorch mark, because I know a couple of people were like, don't believe you. I don't know why. I don't know why people watch videos that they don't believe, or if they don't believe a person, just stop watching. Anyway. Yeah, so after that video, the fabulous Lee, hey Lee, got in touch, and one of the things I can't wait for when I move house is I'll have more wall space. So I've got tons of posters, other like exhibitions, like textiles exhibitions and all that stuff that I want to frame and have on my walls. And Lee sent to me, after he'd shared a photograph on Planet Vegetaria, Richard and Paul's Facebook group, he'd shared a photograph of in his home. It's huge, as in, you know, it's maybe shy of 1 metre wide by maybe 1.20 metre deep. Is patterns, and it's like all these dressmaking patterns all overlapping, from a ladies' magazine from, I can't remember now, when was it, Lee? The 20s, the 10s? And I said, oh my goodness, it's gorgeous. And Lee very kindly sent me a copy of that magazine. He got a bit of a collection. It's actually tucked away, waiting for me to have my new home. And when I do, when finances permit, I'm going to frame it because it's gorgeous. So that Lee is the one who got in touch after my iron disaster video and recommended this make. Now, a load of you had recommended Rowenta. which, yeah, is a make I know. It's not a make I've ever used, I don't think. So, excuse me a sec. But I've made a note of that. I thought, oh gosh, yeah, quite a few of you are mentioning it because of the weight. If you remember, I was saying my old iron had real weight to it, and when I'd gone window shopping for irons, they all seemed so lightweight and flimsy and horrible, and they were 100 quid and da. Lee got in touch and told me about this make, and it's actually a make I did know of, but it completely slipped my mind because it's a little bit of a special one. It's the kind of iron that tailors and seamstresses use, the pros. So it's a make called, can you see there, Polti. And the reason he was recommending it, we'll get it out in a second, is, can you see the thickness of the sole plate? It's got a really good chunky sole plate, and then this beautiful cork handle, a nice sort of ergonomic, and also it's not going to get hot. It also, let's get it out and have a look. It also comes with the reservoir for creating steam. Now, you know, for years, my old iron was a steam iron, and the reservoir was in the iron itself. So obviously it's quite a small reservoir, just for home use, you know, if you're doing your clothes, if you're doing a couple of shirts. The thing about this is, like I said, this is one that the pros use, and if you are pressing and steaming all day, the little reservoir in the iron is not going to do you any good. So this has got a big external reservoir to it. It will be weird actually for me to start using a steam function on an iron again, because for years my steam function bust years ago, so that's why I spritz, and maybe I'll still spritz a bit. Hang on a sec. Hang on it. I'm trying to do this in a way that I can talk to and we can see each other. Okay, destruction manual, important. I'll read that this evening. I need my wife again. Hold on. Can I shrug that off down there? Clatter bang wallet. What's that? Funnel. It's a funnel, it's not a moon cup. Oh my god, the iron's just tipped off. Shall I tip you down a little bit? There we go. Hold on a sec. Let's just slide that off. Now the one thing I did think about with the water reservoir for creating steam is, because they're all attached, it might mean that when I'm ironing, for example, where I've got my table here, is I have to sit the reservoir on my table and have my ironing board right next to it. So, it cost a lot of money to me. It cost a lot of money. This cost me £95.96, best part of 100 quid. But you know, it's like, oh god, here we go spending. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh my god, it is. Hang on a sec, let's move that out of the way because I'm just going to undo the cable a second. Yeah, look, 96 quid. It was shipping free. It is a lot of money. However, this is part of my work. This is my work life. And when it's equipment for work, you want the best equipment you can have. Because hopefully it will last longer, but it's like with the garden and my garden tools. They're expensive garden tools, but hopefully they last a lifetime. You know, that other iron, I've had it for, I worked it out, it's 35 and a half years I'd had that other iron for. If this one lasts me 35 years, I'll be 90. I'll probably have given up sewing by then. Who knows? Maybe I won't, but, you know, hopefully it's a lifetime thing. And look, in 10 years' time, if I decide that all my joints are far too arthritic-y to be sewing anymore, I could sell it. I could sell this second hand because it's such a good make. So it should hold a bit of its value too. Ultimately, it's not too dissimilar a price to some of that plastic, flimsy, horrible stuff I've seen for sale. So why not get the best I possibly can, use it well, look after it well, and hopefully, like I said, it'll last me my lifetime. And more importantly, and this is going to be the little test now, although I'm just on the table, how is it going to feel? I mean, look at it. Look at that. That is it has weight. Oh my goodness, the cable is properly, it will need straightening. It wants to come back on itself. But that, oh my goodness, my friends, isn't that such a beautiful thing? Polti, Vaporel, it's Italian. Of course it's beautiful. It's Italian. It's like, you know, a scooter, a coffee maker. The weight is gorgeous. Lee, you were absolutely right, gorgeous. This is, I think it's, I wish I hadn't thrown my other one away. I did put it into the electrical waste thing, so any parts and what have you, but I wish I'd weighed it, because I reckon, you know what, it feels almost identical in weight. It's heavy, that's what I wanted. That cork handle is a dream. Obviously I've got a button under there. I presume that's for doing a quick squirt of steam there. What's that for? Oh, that slides backwards and forwards, so I presume that's going to be my on and off for the steam. I'll look it up. And obviously there, as usual with most irons, there's a dial in the middle for me to dial up and down there. The heat setting. Oh, it's beautiful. A. I'm going to give it a star. Oh. I'm really, really, really happy. I haven't even tried it yet, but honestly, I can just tell from that weight, I can tell it is going to be gorgeous. I'm just going to bring you back up again. Oh, sorry, that was a bit jerky. Can you see I'm all red of cheek? Yeah, I can tell straight away that is going to be an absolute joy to work with. Once I've uncoiled, the cable really wants to keep coming back on itself. So what I will do is later on I'll put it on the floor and I'll lay the whole thing out flat, straight, so it can unkink itself. And it's just that thing of, okay, I'll just have to bear in mind I need the table next to my ironing board so that the reservoir can sit on the table. Lee, double thumbs up. God, I love it. You know, okay, cost aside for a second, I am an aesthetic creature. You know, I studied art as well as drama. I love design. Design, architecture, interior design, whatever it is, I love it. And to me, this is a thing of beauty. It's just the most lovely design, because it's really pared down and simple, basically, isn't it? We've got the sole plate, we've got the handle. That's pretty much it. God, it's gorgeous. I love it. I'm going to sleep with it tonight next to me on the pillow. I'm not really. I might. Anyway, all right, lovelies, I think that's enough for today. Oh my goodness, a day of, it's a lot of money, but that money was set aside on purpose for just such, you know, an occasion as this. That iron that I did have, I mean, frankly, it's been on its last legs for 10 years, so let's start again. Let's invest well, and hopefully this is for the rest of my life, iron. And then when I'm done with it, hopefully it'll still have life in it. Someone else can have it. Fab. I want to stroke it. I want to stroke it and polish it. Right, that's it. Yeah, and the taps I think the delivery for the taps, it said something like 3 days. It's not one of those things that's a hurry. I'm delighted to have free, you know, if it takes 2 weeks and it's free delivery, that's fine. Just as long as they give me a heads up so that I can make sure it's a work from home day, so that it can be my arm reaching out for the parcel in a photograph, not some random black guy's arm. Oh dear. Yeah, when it comes, I'll let you see. I might not. Sorry, I'm thinking ahead. I might not get around to swapping the taps out straight away, and I'm certainly going to have a little bit of a go at them off camera in case it's difficult and I need to swear like a navvy. But if I can manage it, we'll swap them out together so you can see how that all works for any of you who might need to do similar. Until the next one, lovelies, happy pressing. I'm going to go and put some laundry on right now, even though it's getting late in the day and my legs are, actually no, I'll wait, because that schlep up and down that high street, it going in and out the shops, it has killed me old knee bones. So I think it's enough this evening for me to just look at it and stroke it and maybe get some laundry on tomorrow. I've bought, sorry, I can't stop, I'm excited, I'm giddy now. I'm happy, this has made me happy after not the best day with the whole tap thing, but a few days ago, I was in a bit of a flea shop type place, and I found a lovely chunk of fabric. It's got to be about 150 wide, 2 meters long, couple of holes in the middle, never mind, I can work around it. And it's a sort of a dark pink, pale red, same difference, stripe on an off-white, almost cream background, but the stripe isn't, it's like it's a hand-drawn stripe, so it's got ever such a slight wiggle to it, and it's from France, made in France, and as soon as I saw it, I thought, oh, that looks French for some reason. So that needs a wash and a press. I don't know that I'm going to make anything from it straight away in terms of for my shop. I've got my eye on it for making like cushions and stuff when I move. But that will be a good test for the new body. Right, I've got to go. I've really got to stop talking now. It's so hard once I start, and I'm giddy. I am giddy. That's a great end to a frustrating day. Hopefully the taps that arrive will be okay. I will let you know. Until then, please look after yourselves. And you know what, if you're having a really frustrating day, maybe just stop and have a pint. I think it helped take the edge off. Yeah. Cheerio.